Dating, real dating as well, dating, relationships. How long has been dating for? 4 years? Oh shit! How long is it ever? 4, oh shit! You guys should fight it out. That's 4 years. Rocky's like, I'll fucking put bets on that shit. Go for the eye, go to the fucking eye. How'd you guys meet? Through a friend. Through a friend? I wanted a job. You wanted a job?
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Searles and I am the next guest on Rob's Inner Circle. Now stay there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robert D'Alessio, and I'm the host of Rob's Inner Circle, broadcasting worldwide. I would like to thank each and every one of the audience members who are presently tuning in. We have a very exciting show for you folks tonight. You're going to love it. We have a giveaway, a couple of giveaways, by the way. So you want to stay tuned and be ready. Have your finger on that trigger when it's time. I want to give the usual shout out to the producer of Rob's Inner Circle, Jenny Duhame, and to the podcast techie on our show, Patty, Lady Starlight Saragossa. Well, folks, it's a very, very sad day in the entertainment world. The British-Australian actress, singer, songwriter Olivia Newton-John passed away at the age of 73 to breast cancer today. She was best known for her role as Sandy Olsen in the 1978 smash hit movie Grease, in which she co-starred with John Travolta. From all of us here at Rob's Inner Circle, we would like to express our most profound sentiment of condolences to family and to friends. Interestingly enough, Marie Osmond was offered the role of Sandy Olsen, but she turned it down because it was a bad girl image, a bad girl role, as a matter of fact, and that didn't correspond with her image back in the day. The web series Fun with French, produced by Sima Aurora and Alexandra Trianta Philopoulos, is making headway. Congratulations to Zensa Media. An honorary mention goes out to our very own Patty Saragossa, who appears in the show. We also like to congratulate our good friend and my co-host on Noon Hour Out of the Box, Esther Brzezinski, to Chef Fernando Renzo, and to producer Jenny Duhame for their roles in the short film called Kate's Song, written and directed by Liddy Huang Liu. Cast members are Esther Brzezinski, Owen Hellam, Olivia Castonguay, Liddy Huang Liu, Jenny Duhame, Fernando Renzo, and Annabelle Roberge. Make sure you watch all of our productions on the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel. Comment, share, click on the like button, subscribe to the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell, because every time there's a new production coming out, you will be the first to know. Well, folks, it's that time. Once again, it's time to slip into our weekly ritual. Sit back, kick up your feet on the edge of the table, take a deep breath, exhale, and let us carry the load. Folks, it's showtime. It is time to bring on our guest who's standing by backstage. He's an amazing comedian, an equally talented actor, and he's Montreal's very own. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome tonight's star attraction on Rob's Inner Circle, Mr. Andrew Searles.
Hey, how's it going? Good to be here.
Andrew, oh my God, I could just hear those millions of fans around the world giving you a standing ovation right now. Such an honor and pleasure to have you on.
It is. It's so great to get that round of applause from every single person inside Fairview right now. Oh, so good. Make sure you pay those purchases first, and then give me an applause. Yeah, I'll see you in the food court.
And Andrew, do you mind sharing with us what it is that you're having? That's not whiskey, is it?
No.
What do you have in that cup? What's in that cup?
I cannot confirm nor deny if that was whiskey in the cup.
It's tea, folks. It's tea. You can't have alcohol in Rob's Inner Circle.
That's what they say. It's only illegal if you get caught. That's what they say.
So Andrew, tell us, how long have you been performing as a stand-up comedian?
Well, I originally started in October 2002, so I'll be coming up on 20 years in just a couple of weeks. So it goes from a little dare to all of a sudden it's your career. So it's not many people get to say that. So it's kind of
20
nice.
years. Are you
Yeah.
getting the hang of it?
Sorry?
You getting the hang of it?
Slowly. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Yeah.
You're such a funny guy. You're not even talking comedy, and I'm laughing already.
It's what I do. It's the beauty of comedy, where it's sometimes the best comedy is when you're not even trying. So,
Well, you're going to be trying on August 26th and 27th because you got a show coming up. So, why don't you share with the audience what this show is all about?
So basically, just a quick backstory. Back in 2013, I put on my first headlining show called C'est moi, c'est chocolat. And it was my first time headlining in Montreal, first time ever doing a big event. And the creation of the event was basically out of rejection and also out of spite, where I wanted the headline and the clubs didn't want me to headline, they just weren't interested. So I put on my own show and I headlined it. I sold out Theatre St. Catherine, did 5 shows, sold them all out. And when the Comedy Works closed and reopened, they were like, hey, do you want a headline? I said, yeah, no problem. And then I did my second show called C'est moi, c'est Papa Chocolat in 2015. That sold out. 2016, before I left for Los Angeles, I did C'est moi, c'est Finalist Chocolat. The other 5 shows sold out. So this is my first time being back in Montreal since leaving. And it's a completely new hour. So I'll be talking about life living in Los Angeles now, what's life living in America now, the things I've been coming across and experiencing. And so it's going to be a brand new comedy hour that I'll be bringing to the Montreal, bringing back home.
And it is a known fact that the audience members here tonight and those who will be attending either or both shows, it's such a great show that they'll be there for both shows. I just know it. They'll have a double header. It's going to be at 8 o'clock and 10:30 on each evening. That's correct, right, Andrew?
Correct. Yeah.
Right on the nose. And the audience members have a chance of making history by having their laughs, because you are a very funny guy, having their laughs recorded on digital platform on CD, because you will be recording a live album at one of those shows, and that is on the 27th.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So I'll be recording my second album. The title isn't. I won't say what the title of the second album will be yet. I already know what it's going to be. But yeah, it'll be my second album. The first album did really well. It got picked up by 800 Pound Gorilla Records, and they picked it up and they restreamed it, and it's gotten over 730,000 streams worldwide.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, so hopefully the second one will break some records. And they even told me, they're like, for your first album, this is kind of unheard to have an album stream of this magnitude before. So
well, we got some great news for the audience members. Folks, this album, as you know, is doing so well. For each and every one of you who are leaving your comments, whether it's from Facebook, any platform whatsoever, provided you're from Montreal, and you can go see Andrew's show, we have a pair of tickets that are going to be drawn at random at the end of the show to 2 lucky winners. So 2 people can attend the show. We also have that fantastic album that you put out, Papa Chocolat, that has over 730,000 streams.
Yeah.
And that's going to be up for grabs as well in our show. So, folks, just keep on putting your comments, and hopefully we wish you the very best. And you can go to Andrew's show. If you miss out on the opportunity to win the tickets, it's okay. You can get them either online at Eventbrite. Patty is eventually going to be putting up the link. We have the link where the audience can be getting your tickets for $25. There you go. Thanks, Patty. And if you miss out on the opportunity to get them online, you can get them at the door for $30 each. How's that for homework?
There you go.
Not bad, huh?
This guy went to Dawson for sure.
I went to John Abbott College. And the John Molson School of Business.
Yes, I did.
No, I just told you a line there.
Oh.
So you started off doing impersonations as a young comedian.
Yeah.
Are you up to giving us a couple of those and maybe see if the audience is sharp enough to guess who you're impersonating?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, like I used to originally when I started off, I was doing impressions basically. So I was a big fan of like Mad TV and seeing all these actors do these different impressions. And so I started doing a lot of them in class, and sometimes you get kicked out for it, but it's kind of worth it. So I would do a lot of these impressions, and then eventually I would do it on stage. So the first time I did stand-up was at John Abbott College, and got on stage, did a few jokes, and some of the jokes were atypical of like, yeah, this is your first time. But once I did the impressions, then the impressions really got kicked off, and was doing that for a while, and then eventually it was like, this is too easy. Like I don't want to be in a position where. And I remember because I was at the Comedy Works one day, and I was like, I got this new material, and I got these impressions, and eventually I was like, I don't want to keep relying on impressions anymore. So eventually I stopped doing them, and I just focused straight on writing, and yeah. But it was getting a little too easy at times.
Well, since it's so easy, can you bring maybe a couple of them back to life? Are you up to it?
Yeah, sure. If I hopefully I have my voice is in order. Let me see. One impression that people really used to like was I'd show up and I'd be like, man, let me tell you something. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Got beautiful blue walls and everything. I love it. Shit, it looks so nice. I love it. So that was the one that everyone always like, like my buddy Jason and his Jason Campolo, who's a magician. He'd always say like, his dad loved. He's like, hey man, you gotta do the Eddie Murphy laugh, and that was the one that people were always really like. I used to do Bill Cosby a lot, but this was pre-allegations Bill Cosby, and now I have to take that out. For obvious morality reasons. Yeah,
but you know what? You do an excellent. I'll let you off the hook after this one here. Mr. Bean impersonation is just to die for. If he's up to it, folks, watch this. If he's up to it,
this was. I used to love Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean would used to be like, Teddy, yes.
Rowan Atkinson, our good British friend, someone we just love on TV, Mr. Bean.
Yeah, classics, just classic comedy it's one. Honestly, I think Mr. Bean's probably one of the best comedies ever made, because it's like, how do you create a character that says absolutely nothing but yet resonates worldwide without saying a word?
I didn't understand a word from that mumbling, that Mr. Bean mumbling anyway, and somehow you managed to understand the guy even though he's not
exactly. Yeah, and it's the one show that you could watch with volume and on mute and still have the exact same impressions and still laughter and still timing, and it's
you
great.
Can watch this like in India. What's fun about it is that the guy's smart. You don't need to translate anything, right? Just it's international, right?
Exactly. It's exactly. It's such a trend. It stretches across so many genres because it's not based on cultural. It's all based on like it's up here, right? So you could speak no matter what languages you speak or don't speak. It's about the human condition, right? So it's like
there you go.
It's unique, and nothing will ever compare.
So you studied at John Abbott College. What field were you studying in at the time?
So I originally started studying computer science because at the time computers was like it was the big thing that was happening. Like it was just at the beginning of the whole internet explosion, and like computers were not just they were very affordable and everywhere. And at the time, it seemed like computers were going to be taking over everything. So I was like, okay, let me get into computers. And I was I'm very hands-on. I like to use, I like being taught programs and know how to use a program. But computer science was more about building the program from scratch, like from the ground up. So you're doing the coding. And I was not a fan of coding, like C++. That was not my thing because you could type 30, 40, 100 lines of code, but the whole program won't work because you used a period instead of a comma or a colon instead of a semicolon. I was like, this is not for me. Like, I'd rather just use Napster. So
Napster, I haven't heard of them in a long time.
Exactly. It shows you how far back we go. And so I eventually got out of it and I was like, what's the next program? And I switched into business. A friend of mine, Chris, he was switching into business administration. So I was like, all right, if I'm going to go into entertainment, I might as well, like to learn the business side of it. So I switched into business administration and graduated from that. And then from there, I jumped to majoring marketing at John Molson.
Wow.
But
one day, are you thinking of actually going into what you studied for later down the line, or I don't know?
Hell no. Nah. Not at all. I got the paper. The paper is actually right there. Well, let me see if I can point to it properly. Right here.
And
it's been on my wall for 12 years now, or 11 years now. So
I guess that field is not funny enough, right?
Huh?
That field is not funny enough.
Nah. So I mean, like, it's an interesting field where it's like you could do so much things, especially now in the whole social media era. But I was like, I'd rather just have it sit on my wall and do nothing and collect dust.
Well, you know what? It does fill up your wall. You take that thing off, it's going to look so empty.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to fill it. And that's why right below it is my graduation photo. That's why I was like, I gotta add more stuff to this wall. So
smart. You talked about Mad TV. How about Saturday Night Live? Did that have any kind of impact on you? Did it inspire you? Did that show hit home for you?
No, not at all, actually. Saturday Night Live wasn't a big thing for me. Because when I started tuning in, it was like mostly like the late 90s. And by that point, Mad TV was kind of like more of the in thing, because I think it was that transition era where it was like the Mike Myers and Dana Carveys have just left, but like Will Ferrell was still starting to come in. So they weren't really that known, but to me, Mad TV it was just funnier, like I'd love to host Saturday Night Live one day. Like that's definitely like on the books, like, because that's if you're hosting Saturday Night Live, you reach a certain point in your career, you're like, okay, like this is going to be pretty good for you. But yeah, otherwise, Saturday Night Live was more, I mean, Mad TV and Saturday Night Live were more sketch comedy, but in the end I was like, nah, if I had a choice, Mad TV was definitely the better one.
They're not on anymore.
No, I think Mad TV, they wrapped up. I think they were on for like a good maybe 10 or 15 years, but they had like a golden era, like The Simpsons. They had a golden era of like between season 3 and season 5 or 6. Those were the good sketches, and then after anything before and after doesn't matter.
So we talked about Mr. Bean a little bit earlier on. Has Mr. Bean had any kind of influence on you? Any kind of impact?
I think they probably had a very small yet subtle impact. Basically, because he's such a physical character, very physical comedy. So I think that might have had like a maybe a little subconscious kind of dip in or drip inside me where it's like, okay, get more physical with your stand-up or something, but never a really major influence in stand-up. But it was, I guess, one of those things where it's kind of like, oh, okay, like I should try and like, maybe I'll be more physical. But I grew up watching British comedies from like my gosh, since I was a kid. So it's probably like I grew up watching Mr. Bean, but also like other Rowan Atkinson projects like Blackadder, Thin Blue Line, Red Dwarf, Keeping Up Appearances, Fawlty Towers, and then the list goes on. Red Dwarf is one of my favorite shows. So I guess a lot of those little things, and British comedy is more drier and wittier than North American. Yeah, so maybe I had like a little bit of influence from there, where it's like it's not always like blah, but sometimes it's more like you didn't. It's like it's very you didn't. It's like it's kind of going over your head until you're like, oh, okay, now I get it.
And you didn't mention Benny Hill. I'm surprised.
But I never saw. Well, when I watched the British comedies, it was on PBS. So the Benny Hill wasn't on PBS, but it was on. I think it was like TVA or TQS. I think it was, but it was in French. But okay. I mean, like a lot of Benny Hill skits were very similar to Mr. Bean, where it's like it's very physical. It's a lot of like running around, tapping a little bald guy's head, and like chasing, half naked girls around. I was like, yeah, you don't need to talk for this part. Like, I kind of get what's going on.
So, Andrew, I'd like to show a little clip. It's the flight attendant. I just want to show the audience what the kind of comedy they're in for. Andrew's a very talented comedian, and he's our guest tonight on Rob's Inner Circle. We're live from Montreal, Canada. Just a reminder that after the clip, you can always come on and ask Andrew any question you want. Is that okay, Andrew? Any question?
Come on down.
Even what's in this cup. And don't forget that we have everybody leaving comments on our show tonight. Well, regardless of the platform, we have a draw at the end of the show. 2 tickets to Andrew's show and the comedy album. His first comedy album, which got 730,000 streams on Spotify.
Overall.
Overall.
Pandora, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
Hey, congratulations. Wow, that's just such an amazing story. So, Andrew, let's show the audience this clip right now.
So I've been doing comedy for about 14 years now. And I like the fact that you guys come out to the show. You guys want to laugh. You guys want to have a good time, right? And I get to leave the show like, hey, they had a good time. Therefore, I had a good time. Therefore, I had fun tonight. That's one of the fun things I like about being a comedian. However, the one thing I hate about being a comic is the fact that we're the only profession where we have to prove what we do for a living on the spot when somebody asks. Think about it. You're a lawyer? That's amazing. You're a police officer? Good for you, son. You're a comedian? Tell me a joke. Are you funny? Tell me a joke. Are you funny? Like, no, fuck off. I'm off the clock. Leave me alone, right? And people don't realize how annoying that is, and I got back at someone for that. True story. A couple years ago, I'm at this bar in the West Island, and as me and this girl were talking, right, me and these 2 girls were talking. Now, the waitress comes by with a tray of drinks. So she comes by and she says, hi guys, I have your drinks, okay? The drinks are right here. If you need anything, my name is Cindy, just let me know, okay? Bye. And Cindy walks away. So I look at the girl looks at me, and I want to impress her with the fact that girls like funny guys, I'm a comedian, she's gonna love me. So she looks at me, she's like, then what do you do? I'm like, well, me, I'm a comedian. She's like, you're a comedian? Tell me a joke. Are you funny? Tell me a joke. If you laugh. Are you funny? Tell me a joke. Are you funny? Really laugh. And at one point I had enough, I'm like, ugh, no. Why? Because I don't want to spend the rest of my night telling jokes to this person I just met. So then I look at her, I'm like, you know what? What do you do? She's like, oh, me, I'm a flight attendant. I'm like, oh, really? I took the tray of drinks, gave it to her, and said, then bring me a fucking sandwich. Here's the kicker, though. She looks at me, she's like, I don't get it. I'm like, you don't get it? If I have to work tonight, you have to work tonight. She's like, oh, that's rude, I'm leaving. I'm like, good. Exits are here, and here. So I'm single, I don't know why. I should go on Tinder.
Everyone give a huge, thunderous round of applause for Andrew Searles.
Wow. So we got this thing for flight attendants, I hear.
Yeah, maybe. Which is funny enough. That story, it's 100% true story. That actually happened.
It is.
Yeah, well, 100%. I did very little tweaking, but yeah, that conversation's a real conversation, and I was like, all right, you want to play games? We'll play games.
You go back and forth between Montreal and LA, so you're a frequent flyer.
Pretty much, yeah. So I spend most of my years, most of the year in LA, and then I'll come back. I always make sure to come back here for Christmas, but I'll come back here for work as well, for like either stand-up or acting work as well.
Hey, listen, we have an audience member who thinks she knows what you have in that mug. Luisa Miniaci Di Leo, who was a guest on our show, she thinks you got espresso in that cup.
No. But I am. It is not espresso. But
Okay.
I most people, a lot of people think I drink coffee to have energy. I was like, no, this is me, 24/7. This is I'm naturally firing on all cylinders. Espresso has me in their cup. That's how this energy thing works. I give espresso energy.
So for the audience, just that you keep guessing over here, Andrew has a bit of British influence in his background. Okay, so that's the clue.
Not just colonialism.
So, Andrew, you've shared the stage with some pretty top acts. Among these people, you know, the well-known comedians, who are the people you shared the stage with?
Let's see. I've worked with quite a few talented people. I should like local acts, like like Joey Elias, Sugar Sammy. Mike Ward, I believe I've worked with Mike Ward a few times. I worked with Donnell Rollins, who we all know from the Chappelle Show. I worked with him. Who else? Quite a few names that people have seen that if I was to name them, people would just be like, who's that? And then I show a photo, then they're like, oh, that guy. Yeah,
the flight attendant guy, that guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always been good to work with some people that just get that Adam Ferreira was one I just worked with not long ago as well. So it's always great to be on a stage where you just kind of go like, hey man, like I watched you before I even did stand up, and now here we are on the same page 2 years later.
So you mentioned Joey Elias, and Joey Elias and I have something in common.
Mm-hmm.
He and I were both in the same film, The Day After Tomorrow. I had a role as an extra in the show, talking on the cell phone, leaving the stock exchange. I believe that scene was. I haven't watched the movie in a long time. So I was like leaving the office. I'm an extra. You just see my back. So, and that's a pretty great performance. What was it, 2 seconds? And you also have Joey Elias, who is the librarian, not the library, the library security guard in that movie. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Joey Elias and I met again back in 2013 when we were both auditioning for a part in Being Human.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty interesting seeing Joey, again, we hooked up, just said hello and bye, and like break a leg, type of thing, figuratively, of course. Because if you break a leg, you can't go film, right? But you don't really wish that upon someone. So of all the comedians who are out there, which ones could you say were the most inspiring to you?
Most comics I'll usually draw like little bits of inspiration from. Like there's rarely, I think Chappelle is probably the main one. Chappelle is probably like the main guy where I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is the guy I want to like definitely learn the most from. But there's been comics I've seen over the years, even way before I did stand up, that like there's little things that they do that you just kind of go like, I like that, I'm gonna drop inspiration from that. Oh yeah, you did this thing, okay, I like that. They think there's never, some people will have one and it's clearly obvious they draw from that one person, but for the most part everyone's kind of, it's like a charcuterie board. It's like, yeah, the main meal is cool, but I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Some supersata, some calabres, a little bit of some olives, and little little stuff here and there.
You know to eat well. Obviously, you've been hanging out with Italians.
I've been hanging out with too many Italians over the years, and it's great. I love it.
Italians, an influential Italian in the comedy world. You have everything to do with someone named Franco Taddeo, who's a star in the Montreal scene and the Italian community as a comedian.
Yeah,
So-
I worked with Franco for I met Franco when I first started. I think I worked with Franco on my second show or third. I think my third show ever. And yeah, we've been working together ever since. It's been a while. I mean, like now that I live in Los Angeles, but we always try to keep in touch. And yeah, but yeah, you know.
Okay, Andrew, I'm under the impression here that you left Los Angeles just to be in our show tonight. Am I right? Did you leave Los Angeles just to be on our show tonight? Andrew,
Maybe.
come on. I won't tell anybody. That's unbelievable. You know, that is one of the cutest things anyone has done for us. Andrew, wow. Well, you guys got to go see Andrew on the 26th to 27th. Such a great guy, such a great comedian. All jokes apart, this is the right place to say jokes, right?
Yeah.
All jokes apart, Andrew has some great material. It's brand new stuff. And like he was saying, something he can relate to what goes on in the States. So new material. It's going to be funny. And a reminder that there's going to be history in the making. He's going to be recording his second album. And you can immortalize that laugh of yours. Going to be going on a CD that's going to be made available. And no, we won't recognize your laugh. So you won't have any rights to royalties or whatever. But hey, it'll be part of the fun, right?
Yep, exactly. No royalties. Correct.
So for those for the people out there who want to get into comedy and don't know exactly which way to go, which workshops do you recommend that they would start off with?
Ooh, strangely enough, like if you're on the French side, there is a stand-up school that you could go to, and I don't know how it works exactly, but you do your, I think it's like 3 years, a 3-year program, and you go in and they teach you all the basics and whatnot. But on the English side, they're really like, there's a couple classes here and there, but like Joey Elias, as we mentioned before, Joey used to teach classes at the Comedy Nest years ago, but that's all changed obviously due to COVID. But otherwise, yeah, there's no classes on the English side. You just kind of, you figure it out. You go to an open mic and you just kind of watch, or sometimes people just go up on stage and you figure it out along the way. So yeah, there's in Los Angeles there are a few places that do offer classes, but for the most part it's literally trial and error. Like you go on stage, you try it, doesn't work, you stick with it, or you quit that same day, or you go back and you try and figure out, okay, what went wrong? What did I do? And you kind of figure it out on your own over the weeks, months, years, and eventually you'll get it.
Andrew, I can't believe nobody thought of this, including yourself. Mm-hmm. I found out how you can become an excellent comedian.
How?
First of all, you want to go onto Andrew Searles' YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel and like all his stuff and comment, right? But then all you got to do is go to Andrew's shows and you're going to learn all the basics of how to be an excellent comedian. Andrew, it's that simple, for crying out loud. How come nobody thought of that?
There you see. I mean, what do I know? That's my time. He'll take over. He'll take over, guys.
So
you guys figured it out.
You're a Montreal boy and you end up in LA. How did that happen?
I ended up in LA because years ago, about just before around the same time I was in my first show at Theatre St. Catherine, I kind of realized there's like a glass ceiling in Montreal, and even a glass ceiling in Canada. It's just a little bit higher. And I just felt like no matter what stuff you book, you were never really, like, you're climbing a ladder, but eventually you're going to hit a ceiling. That ceiling will just rise with you, but you're still there. And I never liked that feeling of like, okay, well, is this it? Is this all? And I knew people that were booking a lot of acting stuff, but like they weren't exploding as you would in the States. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to stick around for that. And then on the comedy side, like there's too many like gatekeepers, and then like they kind of look like they were just kind of like holding certain people down while letting their certain friends kind of come up through the gaps. And eventually I was like, you know what, like I don't want this to be it, you know, like it kind of felt like going to the horse races and the gates open and then none of the horses run out, and then somebody just comes out and goes, okay, you're gonna be first, you're gonna be second, you're gonna be third, you're gonna be fourth. And it's like, well, let me show you what I could do. And it's just like, no, that's Canada. We already like who we like, and we don't like who we don't like, and there's no point showing off your talent. And I figure, you know what, if this is the glass ceiling, I'd rather just go to the States. And 6 years ago I decided that was going to be true. So yeah.
And the weather's so much better down there.
Yeah, you know what? The weather is nice in LA. It's nice year round, but honestly, and a lot of people kind of look at me weird for it, I was like, it kind of gets boring. It's kind of boring after a while.
Beach every day, Andrew. What are you talking about? The beach.
The beach. Beach. Yeah. Same. Cap Saint Jacques also has a beach. Doesn't mean you're gonna go to it every day.
Come on, you're trying to compare here.
Yeah, dude, I mean, yeah, a lot of people. Here's the thing, though: a lot of people want to be by the beach, but nobody really goes to the beach. People just want to be by it because the water in LA, it's the Pacific. It's freezing, like it's cold. Nobody really goes in the water, like unless you're down in Laguna, then the water is a little bit warmer. But like a lot of people want to be by the beach, but not necessarily be at the beach. You know?
Because I thought all those girls in Baywatch love to bathe in that Malibu water, that ice cold water.
Yeah, but I also don't want to see Hasselhoff's nipples jumping up and down.
Hey, Andrew, that's an interesting fellow. This is history in the making. My son tuned into the show. Hey, son, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, what's going on? Derek? Is that my pronunciation?
Derek, that's right. Derek. So, Derek, we got an interesting guest on our show tonight. This is Andrew Searles. He's a comedian. He's a very, very funny guy. He's got his show on the 26th and the 27th of August, but unfortunately on the 27th, you can't be there for reasons that both you and I know. But if you want to go see him on the 26th, it'd be a great way to spend a great evening at Cafe Cleopatra. We have a comment from a previous comment from one of our audience members, Louisa Miniachi. Patty, if you can put that up, please. There you go. So Louisa is saying she was hesitating on sending this one, but since you like Italian food, do you like sopressata or pancetta? And there's a part two to the question that we'll answer in a second. We already said it. Louisa, will be getting back to that in a second. Just repeat it for those who might have tuned in right now. What's your next show in Montreal? So, Andrew, go ahead and answer the first part of the question. Do you like sopressata or pancetta?
Sopressata. No, it's not even a debate.
and where's a good place that you can have food in Montreal, like on the East End? You talked about it before, but plug the place.
Milano's.
Milano's, man, that place rocks.
Yeah, it's a good place. You want a good Italian sandwich, or sandwich, as some of my friends would say. If you want a sandwich that looks like spack, then
oh my God, you are so Italian,
dude. This is what happens when you grow up with Italian people, like Italian comics on a show, Italian comics treating you at the show, going out for Italian comics after the show. Yeah, you kind of pick up the language pretty quickly.
So, Derek and the rest of the audience, just letting you know that we have all the people putting their comments here in the show this evening. You're eligible for the draw that we have at the end of the show. We're going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Andrew Searles show. That's both. Louisa, you listening? It's both on the 26th and 27th of August. And he's got 2 shows on either evening. That's 8 o'clock and 10:30. On the 27th, he's going to be recording his show, and it's going to be for his upcoming second album. So, folks, you don't want to miss the show. It's going to be a really, really great show. That's right, Patty. It's at Cafe Cleopatra, 1230 St. Lawrence Boulevard in Montreal, at the corner of St. Catherine. Andrew, How
Yes, sir.
difficult is it to go work in LA? Do you know, the majority of people who want to go work there, do they encounter many obstacles?
I will say this though. People think working in the States is like working in a different part of Montreal. It is so shocking and yet absurd at how many people come up to me. They're like, you mean you can't just go over and just start working? Like you can't just go to another country you're not a citizen of and just start working, Andrew? Like, you kidding me? It's like really, dude? Like, I've had that so many times, dude, you would not believe. And it's like, yeah, when you're not a citizen of a country, you can't just walk in and start working. Like, you know, and I've had people come up to me and say, like, what do you can't just walk into the Paramount and speak to the president and make him get you a role in a movie? Yeah, because that's what they're doing. They're just sitting around. Tom Cruise and the president of Paramount are just like, well, we do want to make the next Mission Impossible, but where's Andrew? We're waiting on Andrew to show up. It's like, but and people believe this. People honestly believe, like, it's as simple as that, dude. You can't just do that. Like, but I'll say this though. The papers that go over, like, because there's an entertainment visa, the amount of paperwork and the amount of things that you have to do just to get the paper to say that you're allowed to work there will put off so many people. The cost will put off so many people, and the amount of things that you need to qualify to even start the paperwork will put off a lot of people. So
Imagine.
It's like a lot of people have no idea how much work it takes.
And there's also the fact is, where are you going to stay? I mean, you're going to stay at hotels, motels. Where are you going to find an apartment? And then again, where are you going to find the revenue to sustain yourself, to eat? You got to drink. You got to live somewhere.
But people think that, like, you know, you go to, because a lot of people, when they go to LA, they're in vacation mode. So they're just like, oh, just hang out at the beach and then do some acting stuff and then, you know, call it a day. It's like, yeah, but you're in vacation mode. Like, I live there. Like, you can't just sit around and like, and yeah, it's the dream that people have,
unreal,
or the mentality people have of like how LA works is like, man, like it's no surprise that people move there and within 2 or 3 months end up moving back because it's like, yeah, it's not a game.
They waited that long for Keanu Reeves in the parking lot. It never showed up.
Yeah. Who's an Ottawa boy? Yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, his father is Canadian, but does he have some kind of a Hawaiian mix in there? His mom, maybe?
I forgot how the mix works.
I don't know. It's the name. The name is
Keanu means cool breeze. Yeah. So he's like, it means cool breeze. You know?
Talking about cool breeze, you want to tune in to Esther's Breeze. That's really cool. That's Esther Brzezinski. She's my co-host on Noon Hour Out of the Box. And speaking of which, folks, we have an extended version of tonight's show this upcoming Wednesday right here on Bobby Short Shorts on my personal Facebook page and also on Esther's channel, Esther's Breeze. Andrew Searles is going to be our guest on the Noon Hour Out of the Box. So you guys can pick up on the fun. You want to switch over? That's this Wednesday at noon. So
I just saw Louisa's comment. Come over to our place and have some supersata.
Hey, Patty, you mind putting that up again? Let's come over to our place and have some. Look at that.
Listen, listen, Louisa, I'll say it, and it's homemade. Listen, Louisa, homemade supersata. Listen, this is the start. This is how most Maury episodes begin.
She's definitely got
a black guy going over to a lady's house. They're having homemade supersata. Listen, all I'm saying is I don't want to be the father, all right?
Lisa, you got to go to the show and hook up with Andrew, and you know what? You can probably promote the supersata, and you're not going to get any better than that because she's of Italian descent, but she's also from the region where the supersata comes from. She's Calabrese. And nobody makes supersata better than the Calabrese.
Oh, then I'll be over then.
Louisa, look. work things out between you two here. I don't want. I have nothing to do with it.
I'll tell her. I hope that's her husband in the photo. I'll be like, hey, bro, listen, she's from Calabres. That's why I'm here. I swear. I don't know why my shirt is off, but I'm saying.
Look at that! All of a sudden, now she's gonna have to put a big table because next thing you know, look, Jenny's going over, and it'll be hard pressed not to invite me and Patty's and Angie, my girlfriend. So hey, Louisa, you got yourself into a whole load of trouble here. So Andrew, besides LA, what are the American comedy hotspots?
Well, LA, the big comedy hotspot is mostly New York. That's the main hotspot. LA would be a mix of like comedy and acting. But the new hotspot now, because of Joe Rogan and because of COVID now, is Texas. Austin. I think Austin is the main one now. I don't know if there's another subdivision or another city in Texas, but I know Austin's now it's starting to become the new comedy capital. How long that will last, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I know a lot. I know quite a few people that left LA and headed to Texas for comedy. So we'll see how long that bubble will last.
The name Papa Chocolat sounds kind of French, so I'm taking a shrewd guess over here that you might someday try your hand at comedy in French.
No, my French is terrible.
Pourquoi pas?
I don't know. When it comes to languages, languages just for some reason it doesn't come to me. Like I probably speak better Klingon than I do French. So yeah, Papa Chocolat was or C'est moi ce chocolat was derived by accident. Actually, it was derived by like a quick tag to a joke, and it was just like a repeating tag that I had throughout my set. And one day I was at the a radio station that a friend of mine worked at, and then she's like, you know what you should do? You should kind of like capitalize on that, make it your brand. And I was like, oh, okay. And then that's where C'est moi ce chocolat became like my branding, and then I just kind of like emphasized that. So to the point now where it's like I'll be out somewhere. And like, and it's happened a few times where I'm at the mall, or even one time I was in the metro or like at a restaurant, and someone comes up, he goes, "Hey, are you Papa Chocolat?"
No, I'm Daddy Chocolate.
Yeah, and I get like out of context, people will just be like, "You can't say that," but but in context, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy's seen me perform.
So part of the reason you left Montreal to go to LA is also acting. So have you gotten any gigs lately in the acting world?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to book a couple a nice little acting roles. And mostly it's been a lot of short films. So I did one short film called The Big Break, which got a good festival run. It was filmed in 2019 and got a good festival run in 2020. Even despite the pandemic, it did pretty well. I did another one called the Carducci Talent Show, which did pretty well. I think that's available on Amazon, I believe. So you could probably check that out there. And I actually just booked filmed a role recently for the CBS show called Ghosts. So you'll see me in I don't know which episode it'll be, maybe episode 2, somewhere between episode 2 and episode 4. You'll see me in one of those episodes. So that'll be coming out very soon. But
okay, so now
and a lot of commercials here and there, which was always nice.
We have the audience over here. All of a sudden, they're all over the place, and you're going to end up getting invitations here. And one of them is Frida Adams. She's from Ontario, and she says she can make homemade lasagna, actually homemade layered lasagna with topping of feta and her homemade Frida sauce. Yummy. Andrew, you're shopping for a lot of eating.
Frida. Homemade Frida sauce?
Yeah.
Girl, like on the plate or on you? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'll still eat it. I'm just saying.
Hey, Frida, next thing you're going to end up having to invite the whole cast of Rob's Inner Circle with Andrew It's okay. So, hey, give us something to do, Andrew, right?
Oh my gosh. All right, Frida, we'll
We
talk.
got 2 invitations. The second one on the way. It's in the bag. Okay. So lots of actors go from comedy to acting, and some prime examples are what's his name again? God, Tom Hanks. Yeah, Tom Hanks started off as a stand-up comedian, and he appeared on Family Ties in an episode, and as a bad guy on Happy Days, and went on to do some roles on TV shows. And next thing you know, here he is. He's like stuck in an island for 4 years, and he's Forrest Gump. And besides Tom Hanks, which other actors that you know left comedy to go into successful acting careers?
Adam Sandler's one. Michael Keaton is another. Who else? There's been quite a few. I mean, Eddie Murphy for one. Robin Williams. My gosh, I'm sure that list goes even long. And I'm sure there was one serious actor who started and who did stand up for a little bit. But yeah, a lot of I think casting directors are now starting to realize. I mean, for years they've been doing it, but I think they're starting to realize, like, if you're a comedian, like you're already in touch of who you are, and you already know how to express yourself on stage and be vulnerable. So I think casting directors now, especially in the last few years, they're starting to go, hey, let's start casting comedians, because it's easy for them to just spill the beans on themselves than to get an actor and train to do comedy, or most actors, or most people who are comedic actors, they're not as vulnerable as comics, because we're used to going on stage by ourselves with just a mic and that's it. So yeah, I think it's great, like when you and for me it's like I like growing up, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, like I'll do whatever gets the job done. So I think casting is looking at that, and they're going, yeah, we gotta start casting these comics. It's obvious because over the years, we've seen a lot of the big talents, a lot of the big names in Hollywood, like you said, like as we mentioned, like you go back in their career, it's like, oh, you did stand up, and you did stand up, and you did stand up, and you did stand up. So it's like there's always something, as comics, but that transferred to that transferred to acting.
I was hesitating at throwing this joke at you. You probably won't get it, but I'll try anyway. Yeah. I went to an audition. They told me to break a leg, and I actually ended up in the cast.
Hey.
Oh, you got it. All right. Hey, good for you. All right. History in the making. Yeah. Someone got my joke. Okay. Take a note of this, Patty. So let's go back to your childhood, Andrew, and tell us what it was like growing up in the Searles household. As you were a youngster, you put aside those G.I. Joes. You had other things in mind.
Yeah, I was a big Star Trek fan. So I grew up watching the original series and Next Generation and DS9, Voyager throughout the 90s. But so most people had like G.I. Joes, and I had little Captain Picard figurines and little Commander Riker figurines, and like little the shuttlecraft Enterprise and the shuttlecraft Galileo and the Enterprise. So that was my childhood. Like I just had phasers and toy phasers and everything, and I still have most of them, which is pretty great. So
oh my god, I hope you have them on hand. Like did you just stretch out your hand and you?
Oh, I know. It's too far. It's like another 10 feet.
Okay, but listen, we're all Star Trek fans, and we all watch the show, and we know what they look like.
Yeah.
Just a quick mention, someone very dear to Star Trek fans, Nichelle Nichols, passed away not long ago. And she was one of the favorite characters on Star Trek. Wonderful woman. She passed at the age of 89. Her real name is Grace Del Nichols, and she portrayed Nyota Uhura on the show. So, Nyota, was she one of your favorite characters besides Captain Kirk and Spock?
From the original series?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite one from the original series. I think from the original series is probably Spock was probably my favorite.
Well, that's logical.
But yeah, yeah, because I mean, like when I started watching the original series, it was at the same time Next Generation was on. But by that point, Riker was like my guy, you know, like with the beard. Like, people like him with the beard. I like a beardless Riker, but like, you know, he was like nice haircut, blue eyes, good looking dude that like got the chicks and got the dream job, and the, you know, so it's like he was the guy I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like, this is the guy I want to model myself after, you know.
And funny as it sounds, is that the original series ran for 3 seasons. The first 2 seasons were produced by none other than Desilu Productions.
Yep.
Who's Desilu Productions? Well, you remember Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz from I Love Lucy? Well, their production company produced the 2 first seasons of Star Trek, and with the final season produced by Paramount Television. Andrew, I'm going to make you take a wild guess. The first season, what was the budget per episode?
I think it was like 300,000 per episode.
190,000.
190, okay.
And as we went on to the second season, per episode, it was 185,000. And eventually the last season was 175,000
Yeah,
per
this last
episode.
budget.
However, nowadays, if you go back to 2019, the budget was 1.4 million per episode on the new Star Trek series. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it goes to show where all your dollars are. That's why TV series now cost like anywhere from 150 to 200 million, or even 300 million for some.
And actors are still not making money, right?
Right? Yeah, I know. I'm still waiting tables. What's going on?
So I remember watching because I was more of the original Star Trek series fan, watching all the gadgets they have on the show, like something that looked like a cell phone and something, all this stuff back then. If you look and you say, holy mackerel, someone was thinking of the future. Someone's forecasting something. In fact, our producer, Jenny's grandmother, well, she once told her that she attended Expo 67 here in Montreal, and she was looking at a video screen and was speaking with someone in China. Well, 50 years later, we are still doing the same. The tricorder created by Hua Chang for the series was basically the flip phone of today. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, I know, because the guy who created the first cell phone, I think he did it for, I can't remember his name, but he created because he watched Star Trek and he was like, oh,
so I knew it had some kind of a link.
Very, very influenced. A lot of today's technologies are very influenced by Star Trek, from GPS to Bluetooth. Speaking of Uhura, the earpiece, that was inspired. Everything. A lot of things we have today are Star Trek inspired. So yeah, you're welcome, guys.
Well, I still got to see a lightsaber going around. Hey, get out of my way.
Yeah. Different series, different franchises, but yeah. Well, who knows? One day we'll see it.
Hey, you're not going to get off the show without speaking Klingon to us. So Klingon to life and give us some Klingon.
Oh my gosh. Kapla, success. There you go.
Thank you so much. That was kind of you. Yeah. Can you give us a complete sentence?
A complete sentence?
Well, it doesn't have to be this long. It could be that long. You told me the other day.
Which is this my chair?
You know what? You should have let the audience guess. You blew it.
No.
Do you attend some Comic-Con conventions?
Oh yeah. I've been to the Montreal Comic-Con 4 or 5 times. I did the one in Toronto once, which was really fun. I've yet to do San Diego, but San Diego's on the list because that's like that's like the biggest one in the world. I don't know in the world, North America for sure. I'm not sure in the world, but yeah, San Diego's definitely on the list of like Comic-Cons to attend because it's just absolute mayhem.
So you're a Star Trek fan. That's determined, and you're pretty convincing at it. I believe you're a Star Trek fan. You watched every episode of every series. Besides Star Trek, which other sci-fi shows can you relate to? Either shows or movies?
Sci-fi shows. I loved Red Dwarf, which is a British show, British comedy. Red Dwarf is really good. The Orville, which is on now, which is Seth MacFarlane's sci-fi show, which is like a love letter to Star Trek. That they just wrapped their 3rd season a week ago, and awesome. It's probably one of the best Star Trek, non-Star Trek shows on air. And other sci-fi shows, Terminator 2, probably one of the best. I would say Terminator 2 is probably the best action film ever made. So yeah.
Well, you see, in Terminator 1, when Arnold said, "I'll be back," a lot of people didn't think he was serious. Well, he was. He came back in Terminator 2.
Yeah. And 3, and skipped 4, which was a smart choice. And yeah, he wasn't in Salvation. He skipped Salvation, but then he came back for Genesis and Dark Fate. But I mean, like, that's one of those franchises. It's like, yeah, you should have stopped at 2. Yeah.
And we have an audience member who's tuned in, Sonia Barnes Huggins. Thank you for tuning in, Sonia. And she says that she's a Trekkie herself.
Yay!
So that makes 3 of us.
There you go.
Hey, Andrew, this hour has just flown by. And folks, just a reminder that Andrew's going to be on our show. That's Esther Brzezinski and myself as we co-host Noon Hour Out of the Box this upcoming Wednesday at noon. You don't want to miss that. Andrew's going to be, Andrew, say it. I'll be back. Say it.
It's a what?
Say it. I'll be back.
Oh, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back on our show this upcoming Wednesday. And don't forget, folks, for all of you who made all your comments on whichever platform, doesn't matter whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, oh my God, YouTube, we got so many of them. You're all eligible for the draw. We are drawing 2 tickets to Andrew's upcoming show, either the 26th or 27th. You can attend with a friend, a spouse, whoever. And we also have his first album, Papa Chocolat, which has over 730,000 streams worldwide. To close off the show, Andrew, which school did you attend here in Montreal to get some of the training that you had as an actor?
Hey Esther. I attended Montreal School of Performing Arts, so I went to. Those were the first classes I started taking.
Our good friends at MSOPA, we each and every one of us here at Rob's Inner Circle, Esther, Sonia, who you just seen, we're all students from MSOPA, just great people. You guys want to go check out the goods, msopa.com. I remember back in the day, every Wednesday, Josa, the director of the school, has Let's Talk Showbiz. She has a special show at 6:30. She's got a whole bunch of interesting guests. It's free. Anybody can attend. And you can also check out what's going on the website, which classes you can take. Believe you me, they're very affordable, and the quality of the teaching is fantastic. Andrew, I'm going to have to say we'll see you Wednesday.
Cool. Yes, and I will see you Wednesday again.
And I thank you so much for being part of our show and such an exciting guest, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Yeah, thanks for having me. And if you excuse me, I have to go to Frida's house now because she's making lasagna. So
hang on a sec. We got Frida.
Homemade lasagna. I'll see you soon, Frida.
And we also got Library Lady, who was very active in the chat. Yes, Sonia. Sonia says that her favorite school is MSOPA. Joe says the director. She loves the school. Thanks for sharing that with us, Sonia. Listen, we're going to Frida's place. Louise is expecting. Andrew, hey, listen, you're not going anywhere without me. And you know what?
She invited me, bro. You could drive.
Hey, man, I got all these people in production over here. What? I'm going to go and leave them behind? No way. They got to come too, right? So we got Frida.
I need a lift, bro. You could.
And guys, make room for Library Lady. She wants to join us. She's been active in the chat.
All right,
Library Lady, does that tell you anything, Andrew?
Sorry, what? I'm laughing too much. I'm sorry, what?
That's the whole point. You're a comedian.
Super sad, of course. Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Well, I'll come by after Louisa.
Yeah, Louisa, we're going over for your super sada. Don't worry about it. Yeah, library lady. Is that someone you know?
The library. I don't know who is it. Let me see.
Patty, see if you can put up one of her
I got
one of her comments.
The library. Oh, the library lady. I don't know the library lady.
Probably someone you know because she seems as if she knows you. Some of the comments she's made tonight.
You were saying, you're saying all the right things.
See?
She is.
Andrew, stick around for our meet and greet at the show. We're going to be closing off.
Cool. Sounds good.
That was such an amazing. It was a lot of fun having you on. Thank you so much. For those of you who've tuned in late, not all is lost. You can watch the show. It's going to be rebroadcast on YouTube right after this over here. And all you have to do is just click on the link on all the social media platforms and go watch Andrew. Andrew, closing words are all yours. Go ahead, buddy.
Closing words. Not guilty.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was our guest this evening, comedian and actor out of LA, Andrew Searles. Again, a reminder, August 26th and 27th, he's going to be having his shows at Cafe Cleopatra. You can get your tickets online on Eventbrite. It's going to be an amazing show. On the 27th, he is going to be recording his second album, and you can be part of history in the making. So thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Just a reminder that this upcoming Wednesday at noon, my co-host Esther Brzezinski and myself will be having Andrew back in the conversation. It's all about comedy, and you can be watching the show with Andrew, with Esther and myself this Wednesday at noon. You can watch it on the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel, and you could also watch it on Esther's channel, Esther's Breeze. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Have a blessed week. I will be seeing you next time, same place, same reason, with another amazing guest. Good night, everybody.